That's right, Graham. And what's a better way to start the year off than with your kids helping out in the kitchen? Now, this is a special take on a classic shepherd's pie.
I'll go. I want of you, Shepherd.
Oh, he's back.
Oh. Move way.
Clover fresh milk.
Made with love by Clover.
Well, a good, hearty shepherd's pie is one of those family meals that can go a long way. It's also a great way to get the kids to eat their veggies, and with a few simple swaps, like using our sweet potato as the topping, it is obviously, by default, becomes one of the best nutritional value meals, and Tumi is here to show us how easy it is to make those simple swaps. Chef Tumi.
Yes, ma'am.
Shepherd's pie, cottage pie. I always assumed those were the same things.
For the longest time, I did too, until I actually started doing research about food and the difference in all of them. And then I realized that shepherd's pie and cottage pie differ in that cottage pie is made with beef, and then over the years it's been made with beef, and that's how it happened. And as they slowly introduced the use of lamb mince, then it was then changed from from cottage pie to shepherd's pie, because sheep, shepherd, lamb,
so we are using lamb mince.
Correct. So today we're putting a spin on it. We're making a shepherd's pie using lamb mince. And the one other twist I'm loving today is we are using sweet potatoes. I am a lover, a fan of sweet potatoes. I absolutely love sweet potatoes. I feel like they're also one of the few underrated veggies because they pack so much flavor, and they basically are delicious.
Don't tell the world, because then everyone's going to go and buy sweet potatoes, and then it's not the same anymore.
Then it's not the same anymore. And basically, to start it off, I've got here some onion that I'm sauteing, and then into this I've added a bit of garlic. We want to release those flavors into there. And then I'm going to add a nice sprinkling of our oregano, and then add that into that. Make sure that it gets cooked down nicely. And then I'm going to follow with our tomato paste. So normally people would cook the onions and the garlic, add their meat, fry it up first, and then add the seasonings. I like to make the seasonings first, make that the base, add the meat into it so that the meat just absorbs whatever flavor you put in there.
I'm that people that do what you said, where we add the meat first before the tomato paste.
No, I understand. And I guess it all depends on what exactly you're trying to get from the dish. But at the end of the day, when you cook it down, it's going to get those flavors. It's just that for me, it feels like when you put the meat in there, as it cooks, it releases its flavor, but still absorbs whatever you're cooking in there. It's all up to you. And then normally people would also add the veggies now. I want to add the meat first, let that cook down, add the veggies after. But it really is all up to you how you prefer to do it, as long as at the end of the day you get the flavors that you're trying to get from that dish.
Okay.
All right, but that's just the one part. Shepherd's pie, just like cottage pie, has a beautiful layer of potatoes on the top. So normally you'd have potatoes. We're using sweet potatoes. But to enrich them, we're going to be adding some of our NUTRIKIDS into that, as well as some salt and pepper. So you can get that done.
So we are using our CLOVER NUTRIKIDS. This is a medium-fat dairy liquid blend. I'm going to add just like a dash, right?
Just a dash.
Too runny.
Yeah, because the other thing is, whenever you're making such a dish like a shepherd's pie, cottage pie, you don't want the mash to be too runny. You don't want it to basically fall over. You want it to still hold its structure, so that when you cut into it, you can see the definite layers of the potatoes, or the sweet potatoes, and the mince at the bottom.
Okay.
Right, and all you want to do with the mince here is you want to let it cook down for, I suggest that cook your mince down for at least 30 to 45 minutes, because you really want it to be nice and soft.
And do it slowly.
Correct. Slowly but surely, but you want to make sure that it cooks down and it gets to that beautiful brown color, and then it absorbs all the flavors that you have there. I'm adding a little bit of water into this because we want to make sure that it's still a nice runny sauce. But then now I'm going to add our veggies in here. I've got some carrots, and then I'm going to finish it off with some of our peas.
Classic carrots and peas go so well with the shepherd's pie.
And because we're talking about back to school, this is another point where you'd be able to add all those veggies that your kiddies don't like. Some Brussels sprouts, some cabbage also works in these kind of recipes.
And would you recommend, like, especially if your kids are picky eaters, to blend up the veggies and then add it as a paste into the...
You can, because I've actually noticed even with my son sometimes, they
eat around it.
Out. And it's like, how do you pick out something this small? So yes, if it's a possibility, then definitely blend it down to a pulp, and then add it into your sauce, add it into your meat mixture, and then it's going to also enrich it. But now, let's just say this is cooked down to, after that 30 minutes, we're going to start assembling our shepherd's pie.
Perfect. I just want to ask you, are you happy with this texture?
I'm definitely happy with that.
So I'm just going to add a bit of salt and pepper.
Don't overfill your pan or your casserole dish, whatever you're using, because you want to make sure that you at least have enough of everything. The one mistake that people do is, if they're making such a dish, you make one small layer of the mince and then a huge layer of potatoes, and then defeats the purpose.
True.
So I like to say make it a 50-50 type of situation so you can get a bit of each and everything.
Okay, can I go for it?
Please, go
Do
ahead.
a little bit of a scoopy scoop for us.
Definitely do that. And I think the fun part now begins because you've done the shepherd's pie, you've made it, now your kids are wondering what happens. This is when you get them involved to come make the decorations and make it beautiful. So you can do that with a fork, you can do that with a spoon, you can even do that with just the back of a spoon where you just literally tap it and then it gives you these beautiful spikes.
Okay, show us the beautiful spikes because I'm all about the fork. My mom used to make our cottage and shepherd pies with the fork and it was always so beautifully presented.
True.
But now you're going to show us how to do it with a spoon.
Well, you could do that, but what I want to show you is that instead of just leaving it like this, you can add another layer. Okay, what I was talking about was this with the back of the spoon. And as it bakes in the oven, it's going to get nicely charred. But because we're adding some cheese, you don't even need to worry about that. The cheese will do the rest of the work for us.
Fantastic. Well, Tumi, I love that we got to use our CLOVER NutriKids. And NutriKids has a nutritious range for kids, which includes instant medium fat milk powder, instant medium fat dairy liquid blend, low fat dairy snacks, and 3 fun flavors of fruit nectar blend. Adding milk to the mince mixture instead of water increases the nutritional value of the meal with NutriKids containing so many vitamins. It also gives a slightly creamy taste to the dish. It's a source of calcium, which also aids in the development of strong, healthy bones and to bring out the best in our little ones. I love that we added it to this recipe. And you simply pop this into the oven.
Correct.
Everything's practically cooked, so you just want your potato to warm up and your cheese to melt.
Basically, that's it.
There we go. Well, if you want to get your hands on this delicious NutriKids Shepherd's potato pie, sweet potato pie, we have, it's not a pie. Yeah, it is. A shepherd's pie. We have the recipe available for you. It's on our website, expressoshow.com. And I have to say, I can't wait to tuck into this one.
Me too.
Made with love by Clover.